Hey everyone, how's it going? So in this video, let's look at an alternative for All-on-4. And this is a fantastic treatment, and I've been providing it for a long time. It's nothing new, but whereas historically All-on-4 had a lot of advantages, namely if you've got a dentition which can't be repaired, you can effectively in one treatment session go from that terrible dentition to a really good set of fixed teeth. And the alternative to this was normally to have your teeth removed, have a removable denture, which is terrible. Most people absolutely hate this thing because having an immediate denture, it may look good, but it just doesn't stick in very well. But you have this immediate denture, then 3 months later you can have your implants placed, and then 3 to 6 months later you can then have either a bridge or an overdenture made. Now, the option I'm talking about is the overdenture option. And the difficulty that I have is that I've never had implants myself. I can't genuinely recommend one solution over another. A lot of my patients who have the full arch fixed, like All-on-4 and stuff like that, absolutely love it. But then those guys have never experienced having a removable overdenture. Those guys who we provide an overdenture for absolutely love it. Okay, so I don't know which is better or which is better for you if you're thinking about having All-on-4 or anything like that. The physical differences I can see between having the overdenture and the All-on-4 is that All-on-4 is thinner. Obviously the All-on-4 is fixed, okay, and for a lot of people this is a big thing. Not being able to remove the overdenture, that's a deal breaker for them. Now, saying this, the overdenture is fixed in really tightly. It's not going to move. And last month I completed a case where a lady had All-on-4 at the top, but for cleaning purposes she actually preferred the idea of having the removable overdenture at the bottom. And we fitted this thing last month for her, and I saw her for a review yesterday, and I said, you know, what's the difference? Because I've never had a patient until then who's combined the two treatments. And she, in her own words, she didn't want to be filmed on camera or anything saying this, but there was differences in terms of once it's in and the end result, they're very similar. Okay, she didn't find the denture, the overdenture, obtrusive or overly thick or anything like that. They were both as sturdy as each other, she felt. To remove the overdenture did require quite a lot of effort because there's a lot of different tightnesses that we can provide it at, and we went for a fairly tight one. The process of having the treatment was where it differed a lot, because for her what we did, we took out all of her bottom teeth. We did her All-on-4 at the top, so she had fixed teeth at the top, which looked great, total life changer for her. But at the bottom, we took out her bad teeth and placed the implants, but we didn't connect the denture, so she had a removable denture at the bottom which was moving around. She hated it. It was terrible, and she told me yesterday that most of the time, actually in the first 3 months, she didn't even bother wearing it. But then, because we got the implants in early, after 3 months we were able to connect that removable denture which she had to the implants, and that made it a bit more sturdy and a bit better. Then after the 6 months we converted everything to our final restorations, and she's really over the moon with this end result. Now, this is what it looks like. In the patient's mouth, the overdenture, what I'm talking about is you have these 4 little black discs just poking out the gum. These aren't actually the implants, these are the abutments. And on top of these abutments, that's where the denture will click into. So you have this female component inside the denture, and that clicks into these. And you get different tightnesses, and a really well-made denture will look as good as any All-on-4, right? It's the same materials, it's my same lab technician who's doing all of this. So the looks-wise, it's going to look identical. Strength-wise, it may not be quite as strong because the All-on-4 bridges do have a metal skeleton, but this metal skeleton adds a lot of cost to the overall procedure. The removable denture, I've not had one break yet. We haven't done tons and tons and tons of them, but I have seen them break in the past. And in addition to this, what we do because I always try and have a fail-safe, is this lady and everyone who has this always gets 2 dentures. So if one does break, that they do have a backup that they can wear while the broken one is being repaired, because nobody wants to be without teeth for any period of time, right? So what I've done recently, and I've done this only for 2 patients so far, and it's worked really well, is to use the same kind of all-on-4 protocol. So we take out all of the bad teeth, we put our implants in, and I'll connect the overdenture to the implants straight away. And I'm always a little bit scared, because in the early days when implants aren't fully integrated, they're always prone to, they're not very good with stresses, biting stresses. So if you stress them straight away without them all being splinted together, which is what they are in an all-on-4, in my head it's adding a bit of vulnerability. But I've spoken to a lot of dentists, some guys are doing this and they're getting really good results with it. So we've done this for a few patients, and what this means is that awkward period of having to wear that removable denture is completely gone, because the patient still goes away on the day with semi-fixed teeth. They can take it out, they can clean it, and then they can put it back and it clicks into position. It's a really good solution in that sense. So, I mean, cost-wise, it comes in less than an all-on-4 as well. I normally charge between 15 and 18,000 for an all-on-4, depending on how many implants we're using, and for this solution it comes in nearer 10,000. Okay, so there's a big cost difference there as well. You still get the 2 dentures, so you have the immediate one, which goes in on the day, which is kind of like a temporary denture, but then after 6 months we upgrade that to a permanent denture. Having an overdenture solution like this also has other advantages. Say one of these implants was to fail, then what we could do is just treat that implant in isolation. We could take that implant out, put a new one in, and then use that same overdenture which we've already made and connect this new denture into that. Okay, that's possible. With an all-on-4, that's not possible. If an all-on-4 implant fails, what happens is that implant has to first be removed, then the new one goes in, maybe with or without a healing period, depends how it's failed, and after that we need to construct a brand new bridge, because remember that metal framework is built to the original implant setup. So as soon as you put a new implant in, it's never going to go in exactly the same place. There's always going to be a bit of movement, and you therefore need a fresh bridge, and that's a lot of expense there as well. So I still don't know which is the best one, but from speaking to my patient who has had both options, there's really not that much difference in it once you've had the treatment. Okay, the actual process of the treatment can be a little bit different, but we're doing things to actually minimize the difference of that uncomfortable period without any teeth. If you're really on a budget, there is another option, and that's to use mini implants. And I've done another video on mini implants which you can have a look at. It goes over it in a bit more detail. I don't class mini implants as a permanent solution. I do think they're semi-permanent, but that's just because they haven't been around for that long. But Straumann do the same overdenture connection which you can see here in mini implants. So you could have that same locking in denture on mini implants, and it could last you a long time. And if one of the mini implants fail, again, it's cheaper to replace a mini implant than it is to replace a regular implant. So I know that if you're in a situation where you need all your teeth replaced and you go and see a lot of dentists, most people will recommend the all-on-4, and it's a great treatment option, but I don't think it's the only one. This other option is still a fantastic treatment option. Okay, so I hope you got something out of it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, comments, you can leave them below. If you want to find out more about me, you can find out more about me via my website. The link's in the description. Okay, so until next time, take care.